Okay, so I mentioned this yesterday in class. I wanted you guys to kind of read through page 61 and page 62 to kind of like, again, you don't have to memorize this, but I wanted you to read 61 and 62 to familiarize yourself, to become aware of different words that mean different operations in math. So there's four main operations. There's addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And words that mean addition would be like adding, more than, increase than. I looked at this yesterday. I won't spend much time on page 61 and 62. I think we're just going to get into the practice today. Words that mean subtraction would be like subtract, difference, less than. Subtraction, I will mention, guys, is one that you have to be careful with. And we'll talk about that today, of course. Multiplication, typically you would say times or multiplied by. And division, we would say typically divided by. This is the one you're going to see the most. I'm not going to use the word quotient, but you might see divided by. Okay, so let's practice this. Let's look at some examples. We are going to look today at equations, but let's warm up with writing expressions. Now, remember the difference between an expression and an equation. An expression is just a group of terms. Okay, remember we call these guys terms. So an expression is just a group of terms. An equation is when you have an equal sign there. So we're going to warm up with some just straightforward statements. So look at number 1. 4 more than 6 times a number. Okay, so if I break this down, 4 more means 4 plus 6 times, or instead of times, I'm going to use a little dot here, a number. Whenever you see the word a number is your variable. It could be X. You guys can choose your favorite variable. Oops, that's not a very pretty A, is it? You guys can choose your favorite variable. It could be A, B, C, X, Y, Z, Q, R, like it doesn't matter. I typically use X or Y because they're just common mathematical variables. So 4 more than 6 times a number is 6x plus 4. You have to be very, very, very careful with number 2. 8 less than 3 times a number. Students, a common mistake for number 2 is that students say, okay, 8 minus 3x. That's what a lot of students are tempted to do. So a common mistake is that people say 8 minus 3x. That is incorrect. That is not how this works. 8 less than 3 times the number mathematically means take 3 times the number and then go 8 less than that. Subtract 8. So this one is it's one of the only ones that students get mixed up with. 8 less than 3 times the number is not 8 minus 3 times the number. It's 3x, subtract 8. Again, take 3 times the number and then go 8 less than that. So it's very important you write this in order. In number 1, the order doesn't matter. 6x plus 4, 4 plus 6x, it's the same thing. You're going to get the same answer. But do not do this for number 2. Do not write 8 minus. It's not going to give you the same mathematical answer. Very common mistake. I teach this in business math as well as this course, 1700. Very common mistake. Okay, number 3, 18 divided by. Okay, so that's pretty easy. 18 divided by the product of 4 and a number. Product means multiply. So 18 divided by 4 times a number. Pretty straightforward. This one's a good one. 6 years older than twice Jane's age. So again, we're taking a word problem and turning it into a mathematical expression. Well, 6 years older, that means I'm going to add 6 to twice, that means 2 times Jane's age, x. So it's going to be 2x plus 6. All right. This is hard to teach because each question is unique. There's no formula for this. There's no magic solution. You have to take the English and change it into a mathematical expression. The sum means plus. So the sum of C and D, so C plus D, divided by the product of 6 and Y. Now, remember, guys, when you were younger, you might write this as C plus D divided by 6y. We don't do this anymore. In Math 1700, I do not want to see you use this symbol. This is not an old symbol, sorry, but a symbol you would use in like maybe, grades 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. We want to use fractions in Math 1700. So when I say divided, I mean use a fraction, and you're going to have something on the top and something on the bottom. If you've ever wondered, by the way, I've seen this on Reddit, people like having their minds blown from this. Look at the division symbol. So I'm here by this dumb light bulb. Look at the division symbol. Why is the division symbol this symbol? Well, because division is a fraction. And what it means is it's one number over another number. So for example, like x over y. The reason division symbol looks like this is because it's a fraction. I never ever realized that until somebody shared it on Reddit. It was, some guy said, he's been learning about math for years and never understood why the symbol for division was this, but it means it's a fraction. Pretty cool. Okay, now this one's another common mistake here for number 6. 9 times, so that means 9 multiplied by the sum of x and y. But what this means is we're going to multiply the sum of x and y, both of those things, by 9. Another common mistake here that students make is they go 9x plus y. 9x plus y is not the same as 9 times brackets x plus y. This uses the distributive property. This does not. So be careful here. It says here, this little light bulb says brackets are needed to answer number 6, because I'm telling you to multiply both x and y, the sum of those numbers, multiply both of them by 9. All right. Why don't you guys practice? And this is tough, right? This is like such a strange thing to teach because I can tell you what sum means. I can tell you what product means. Quotient means divide, right? I can tell you all of these things, but you guys need to actually take these sentences and turn them into mathematical equations. We can't do all of these. There's so many. Wow, look at them all. But there's one that I really want you guys to try. Well, okay. Why don't you guys warm up? These are pretty easy. Why don't you guys take 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Why don't you try all of these? I know it looks long, but it's really not. And then I'm going to show you some of the harder ones down here. But why don't you guys get warmed up for today and try question 1, A to F. Okay, so I'll be back in, let's say, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Okay. Yeah, and I notice Hoda is putting some answers into the chat. You guys can do that as well. I'll check them in a minute, but keep working. Take 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then we'll look at the answers. Excuse me. These are pretty straightforward. It's a good warm up. Okay, keep going. I'll just take maybe take 1 more minute, 45 seconds or so. Finish up whatever one you're working on, and I'm gonna check everybody's answers. Just a warning though, for number or letter C, quotient means divide. I'm going to try and avoid the use of the word quotient a whole lot. Like for example, on the first assignment, you won't see the word quotient. If I wanted you to divide, I would explicitly say 7 divided by B, for example. Okay, so I'll be back in 30 seconds and we'll look at your answers. And just thank you to everybody in the chat who's included their answers. So, um, we'll look at this in a minute. All right, let's check out these answers. So I can't get to everybody in the chat. I have probably like 20 messages in there. So let's have a look at some of these. So the sum of x and 8, just x plus 8. The product, which means multiply of 4 and y. B is just 4y. Some of you may have written in the chat 4 times y. That's fine, but in math, we would just say 4y. The quotient of 7 and b is just 7 over b. Okay, 7 divided by b. Some of you may have written 7 divided by b, but I would rather you write it as a fraction. The product of 5 and y, so that's 5y, increased, sorry, that's a plus sign, by 8. 3 times the sum of x and 4. So I'm going to say 3 bracket x plus 4. And then final, and it's you have to use the brackets here. If you didn't use the brackets, you would not get a mark for this. Okay, this is wrong. So 7 more than 3 times a number, 3x plus 7. You could say 7 plus 3x as well, but we tend to put x's first. So I would write that as 3x plus 7. Thank you, everybody. Like I can't get to everybody, but between like Mateb and Isra and Nasser and Abdullah, Hoda, Najla, that's hard to say. Dustin, everybody, Hoda, thank you for your answers. They all looked good. Now there's a million of these to practice. So I'd like to show you maybe a couple ones. Oh my gosh, the number or letter S looks a bit crazy. So I want to show you S, T, and then maybe you can try V. Okay, so let's look at S. 7 less than 1/3 a number divided by 3. What a crazy question. Okay, so divided obviously means this. We're going to divide it by 3, but 7 less than 1/3 a number divided by 3. What that means is we're going to take 1/3 a number. We're going to divide that number by 3, and then we're going to subtract 7 from it. This one's a hard one. There is a way to simplify this that we're not going to really look at, not yet anyways, but you could simplify this pretty straightforward, or not straightforward, but later in math. We could simplify this to 1/9x minus 7, but we'll do that later. Don't worry about that for now. So 1/3 a number divided by 3, subtract or less, as we take 7 away from that. Okay, look at T. 9 times x subtracted from y. Like you really have to be careful with subtraction. The language here means I'm going to take 9x and subtract it from y. Okay, very tricky, very important question. I've seen that. Thank you, Hoda, for the answer. I've seen this question on tests and exams before. So just be careful with number T. So why don't you guys take, well, let's finish it, right? Why don't you take a 1 minute and just try these, especially letter V, because we're dealing with less than. Just take 1 minute, try these two, put your answers in the chat if you want, and then we'll move into statements. So like equations. Okay, so just take 1 minute and try U and V, and I'll be right back. Put your answers in the chat if you want. Okay, let's check out your answers. Now, what are people saying in the chat? Yeah, good job, everybody. That's excellent. So this is good. So I have a private message here. It says, in question T, aren't we supposed to put 9x on the left? The answer is no. So this is where the questions get challenging. Just because this is the first thing in the word statement, it doesn't mean it's the first thing in the math expression. 9 times x subtracted from y. This means I am going to take the letter y and subtract 9x from it. So you have to be very careful with the way the language is presented here. 9 times x subtracted from y is this. It is not 9x minus y. They are not the same thing. And again, the sentence doesn't mean that the 9x goes first. Like the English, the language, the sentence order doesn't mean that the equation is in that way, like not at all. So just because 9x is on the left in the sentence doesn't mean it's 9x in the mathematical expression. And again, this is a challenge, but you got to be careful. So question U, 8 more than 3 times the number. So that's pretty easy, 3x plus 8. You could say 8 plus 3x, that's fine. When you add a number, the order of addition doesn't actually matter. But oops, I would prefer you wrote 3x plus 8. V, 15 less than twice a number. So what this means is I'm going to take 2x and remove 15 from it. So 2x minus 15, not 15 minus 2x. They are not the same number. All right, let's move on. Really, guys, that's just a warm up. This is where the topic number 7 gets important. The word problems where we solve something. 6 more, so these are called number statements. 6 more than a number is 17. What is the number? So what we're trying to do is turn this into an equation. Now, look at this right here. Translate the words of the problem into an equation. Now, what's the difference between this question and the question above it? Well, this question has the word is. And as Mr. Lightbulb here says, is means equals. 6 more than a number. Okay, so x plus 6 is 17. And the question is, what is that number? So of course, or not, I shouldn't say of course, but once we have the equation, we then solve the equation. Now, a lot of you guys can do this in your head, right? You don't need to set up a math equation for this. 6 more than a number is 17. So 6 more than what number would 17 be? Well, 6 more than 11, right? Easy. Like a lot of you can do this in your head. The problem is this gets much more complicated with some of the word problems. It does mention here, you can always check your answer. You can put that 11 back into the equation to see if you're correct. Okay. So let's look at another one. And let me check the chat before I move on here. Yeah, Nasser says this is algebra all over again. Yeah, chapter 1 in this book is algebra. We didn't start with algebra like we started last week with units, order of operations, the number system. But yeah, chapter 1 is algebra. So here we go. 4 less than twice a number. This is a tough one. Sorry about my email there. Sorry about that noise, I should say.
Yeah. What's
Yes.
the title of this subject?
This topic or the first chapter?
No, this.
This is called word problems. So if I go up, The title for this is word problems. So the unit is algebra. The topic is word problems.
No. The new subject.
It's word problems. I don't understand your question. This like unit 1 is algebra. We're doing word problems right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Oops, sorry, I went too far. Whoop, way too far. Hold on. Let me get back up here. All right, number 2. 4 less than twice a number is 36. Okay, be careful here. 4 less than twice a number. I guess it's written here, isn't it? So 2 times a number, 2x. I'm going to take 4 away from that. It is 36. Now I can solve this equation. And again, a lot of you guys could probably do this in your head. You could, 4 less than twice a number. So 2 times what number would be, and then take away 4 would be 36. And some of you guys could figure out that it was 20 in your head. But the whole point of algebra is you don't need to do this in your head. You can create an equation and use the stuff that we learned last week or on Sunday to solve that equation. We did this last week, so I'm not really going to go over how to solve it right now, but I will do some practice ones with you. Just remember, when you get your answer, you can check your answer. I can check my answer by putting it into the equation. So taking that 20 and putting it into the equation to see if it works. So let me show you some, right? I mean, I don't really like reading things to you. I want to show you. So let's look at one of these together. 10 less than a number is 6. Okay, my key words are 10 less, a number is 6. So x minus 10 is 6. What is the number? This just means solve the question. So x equals 6 plus 10, x equals 16. Now I can check my answer. Oops. I can see if I'm correct here. Sorry, let me move this. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. There we go. I can check this. I can say, okay, well, let's try it. 16 minus 10 is 6. 6 equals 6. Perfect. It works. All right, let's do another one, and then I'm going to make you guys practice. This, by the way, is the last question on your assignment. It will look something like A, B, or C. So B, 5 more than twice a number is 35. So 5 more than means it's going to be plus 5. So some of you might be tempted to write this 5 plus 2x equals 35. That's fine. But typically 5 more than twice a number in math. Oh, by the way, twice means 2 times. So typically in math, we would say 2x plus 5. So 5 more than twice a number is 35. All right, solve for x. So 2x equals 35 minus 5, 2x equals 30. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. X is 15. Again, if anybody doesn't know this, we did this on Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and even yesterday. So the only thing that's new is this. This is old. And if you don't know how to do the old part, you're going to have to go back and watch a couple of videos because unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time. Now, I see a message in the chat there, but before I do that, let's check. I want to know if I'm correct. And that's kind of the cool part of math, is you can always check your numbers in algebra. So 2 times 15 plus 5, whoops, equals 35. Is this correct? 30 plus 5 is 35. 35 equals 35. Perfect. It works. My number works. Again, the beauty is if you had to do this on a test or an assignment, wink, 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 you can check your answer. Okay, I got an answer for C. Well, let's check. So Hoda is saying C is 11. Let's see. Or let's look. When I'm done this, I'm going to give you guys a couple to practice. And then I'll kind of, I mean, we got so much time left. This is a little challenging, but we're going to do this next. Okay, this is not on your assignment today. But we're going to take some time. I'm going to slow down on page 69 because it is challenging. But let's look at C, and then I'm going to ask you guys to practice. Okay, 3 times a number decreased by 10. This means minus 10. So 3 times a number minus 10 is equal to 23. What is the number? Okay, that was the hard part. 3 times a number decreased by 10. So I'm taking 3 times the number and I'm removing 10. Decreased by 10 means subtract 10. We haven't really seen one like this before, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. 3 times a number, then take that number and remove 10. So 3x minus 10 is 23. 3x is 23 plus 10. 3x is 33. And I divide both sides by 3 to get 11. Now we want to check our answer. So check. Let's see if 11 works. 3 times 11 minus 10 equals 23. Let's see. 33 minus 10. 23 equals 23. Everything is good. Nobody's asked this yet, but I typically get a question every semester.
Yes, they're decreased by 10. We should write 10 minus 3x or...
What did I just write? Right?
What?
I wrote 3x minus 10. That's what you write.
Okay, I think that we should write like 10 minus 3x.
No.
I wrote it like you, but I thinking now because you said like we have to write the second part, then the first part.
I never said that. I never said you write the second.
With the less than. We write the second part, then the first one.
Yeah, but that's a different question. So, if I said 10 less than, it means subtract 10 from that number. This is a different question. So you can't apply the same rules to every question. This is 3 to and what you're saying is a perfectly good question. It's tough, right? The English is kind of confusing. 3 times a number decreased by 10. So what that means is take a number and multiply it by 3. So 3 times a number. And then take that number and remove or subtract 10. So like, what you said, take this first part and put it as the second part, that only works for specific questions. It's not always true. You have to be very, very careful. Nasser has raised his hand. Do you have a question?
Mr. Mark, by means after, like you put the number after something?
Yeah, well, no, like this is tough because this isn't really math. This is like communications. This is like trying to explain the a sentence. By doesn't mean like decreased by 10, but I could say increased by 10. So by doesn't mean subtract. If I said decreased by 10, it means subtract 10. Increased by 10, it means add 10.
Yeah, in case of subtraction, like if it's decreased by, so the number comes after. Is that
Yes.
right? Or
Yes, the number comes after. Yeah. So like decrease.
but in the case of increasing, it doesn't apply. The rule doesn't apply. Yeah.
See, the challenge there isn't in the English, it's in the math. When you're adding numbers, you can add them in any order. So if I said increased by 10, you could go 10 plus or, x plus 10. The order does not matter. If I said multiplied by 10, you could go 10x or x times 10. The order doesn't matter. Decreased by 10 is very important that you put the minus 10 after, because 10 minus x is not the same as x minus 10. It's subtraction. The order matters. X minus 10 is not the same as 10 minus x. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Got you.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's no
Thank you very
problem.
much.
This is tough, right? It's not the easiest thing, but a bit of practice and you guys will be old professionals at this. One thing I want to mention before you guys actually practice this is typically in a class, I get students asking, do you need to check? You do not need to do this. Okay. So you do not need to check your
In
answers.
calculator, and it's in.
Sorry, what about your
You can-
calculator?
No, make it in calculator. Check in your calculator. You don't have to write.
Exactly. You could do this in your calculator. You do not have to write this down. Exactly. All right. So guys, why don't you try these questions? They're also repetitive. Each one of them is 10 less than 4. I don't know why they're all the same, but anyways, you guys can practice this. Just remember for D, 10 less than 4 times a number means 4x minus 10. This would be the same as if I said 4 times a number decreased by 10. Same. So 10 less than 4 times the number is the same as 4 times the number decreased by 10. All right, try these ones and then we'll move on. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes. Hoda is already answering them in the chat. We got 8 for D, 18 for E. Give them take a few minutes, try these out, and then we're going to move on to a really challenging section. So I'll be back in, let's say, 3 minutes. Good luck. All right, guys, let's check out some answers here. Okay, sorry, I'm just reading the chat there. So Nasser says in the chat, checking your answer is important. It helps you go through your steps in case you miss something. And like, that's so important because like you guys have seen me teach you now for what? This is the 8th class. Some of you have seen me for all 8 classes. How many times do I make a mistake? So, you know, I might forget, like as Nasser says, I might forget a negative. I might, you know, have something written down wrong, and I'm wrong. But checking my answer means I know if I'm correct, which I love. All right, let's very, very, very quickly look at the answers to this. The reason I say quickly is I didn't design this book. All these questions are the same thing over and over and over. So I think the reason that they're doing this over and over is because a lot of students, and myself included, get confused with this less than business. But I'll very quickly do this. Then we're going to look at this type of question, consecutive integers. And then that might be it for today. Oh, we might get into age as well. We'll check the time. We obviously have to finish today by around 12:05. So whatever we can get done in the next little bit. All right, so 10 less than 4 times the number is 22. 4x minus 10 is 22. What is the number? 4x equals 22 plus 10. 4x equals 32. X equals 8. I got that by dividing both sides by 4. Now, as Nasser said, let's check our answer. I'm not going to check every time, but I want to see, is 4 times 8 minus 10 22? 32 minus 10 is 22. 22 is 22. It works. Okay, let's look at the next one. Again, I'm going to go a little quick here because they're all the same question over and over. Oh, well, actually, E is interesting. 1/2 a number, sorry, let me read it again. 4 less than 1/2 of a number. So 1/2 of a number minus 4 equals 5. This one's a little trickier because I have that half there. Another way to write this is you could just say x over 2 minus 4 equals 5. Now, where did this come from? Where did the x minus 2 come from? Or where did
multiply of the x over
exactly
2.
Yes. So where did this x divided by 2 come from? I just multiplied this out, right? 1 over 2 multiplied by x is the same as just x over 2, or 1x over 2, whatever you want to call it. So x over 2 minus 4 equals 5. X over 2 equals 5 plus 4. So x over 2 is 9. And now to finish this problem, I need to get rid of that 2. So I multiply both sides by 2. Again, if you don't know how to do this, you really want to look at some other classes. So x would be 18. You can check it on your own. I'm not going to bother. But this stuff here on the bottom, we have been doing since, I'd say, Wednesday last week. So you can check that out. All right, last one. Same thing. 6 less than 1/3 a number equals 8. So x over 3 minus 6 is 8. And you can solve this. Yes?
It's 8 more than the number, like 8 plus x.
Yeah, what about it? Oh, yeah. I see, I'm going so quick because I just assumed it was the same. Thank you. Look, read this one
I
carefully.
did the same mistake.
Yeah, me too. This is a tricky one because I read it so quick. Thank you for telling me. So 6 less than 1/3 a number is equal to, so that means equal to 8 more than the number. So x plus 8. Now, some of you guys might have written 8 plus x. That's fine as well. Adding does not matter. Aha, so this one, thank you for that. Now I want to solve this one. We've already solved questions like this. So, ooh, this one's a little tricky though. But yeah, we've already solved questions like this. But let's practice this. Okay, actually, this one's a tricky one to solve. First things first, I want to move my x over and I want to move my 6 over. So 1/3, well, let's just say x over 3 for that. So x over 3 minus x equals 8 plus 6. Now I got a huge problem here. I do not like this over 3 business. That's very tough to work with. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply everything in this equation by 3. So I'm going to multiply this by 3. I'm going to multiply this by 3. I'm going to multiply this by 3. Actually, what I could probably do is, let's do this. Before I multiply everything by 3, let's simplify it a little more. X over 3 minus x equals 14. Now let's multiply everything by 3. I just grouped this together. So I'm going to multiply this guy by 3, this guy by 3, and this guy by 3. And the reason I do that is to get the 3's to cancel. Again, anybody who's missed class, we've already done this. So x minus 3x equals, what's this, 42? Okay, so negative 2x equals 42. And I divide both sides by negative 2. So x is negative, what's that, 21?
Yep.
Woo, that's a tough one. Guys, you wouldn't see many questions like this. Like, there's definitely nothing like this on your assignment. Okay. Cool. So let's take the next 15, 20 minutes and do at least, this topic, consecutive numbers, and then that'll be it. And guys, I told you I would have your assignment up by 12. I forgot that this class goes until 12. So just give me some time to finish up that assignment, but it will be up. Assignment number 1 will be on D2L this afternoon. I just need a little bit of time. Yes.
You write x minus 3x. Then you write minus 2x equal 42.
Yep. So x minus 3x is negative 2x, right? If you x minus 3 is minus 2. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
And then 14 times 3 is 42. Right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, good question. So this is the cutoff for your assignment. So after page 6.
Sir,
Yes?
is there a deadline for the assignment?
Yes, Saturday. All right, so word problems, consecutive integers. What does this mean? What is a consecutive integer? What does consecutive mean? If somebody said your favorite sports team, so like maybe you watched Premier League or you watched American baseball or whatever, if let's say like Manchester United or Liverpool won 3 consecutive games, what does that mean? Well, consecutive means in order, back to back. So if like the Al Sadd Football Club in Qatar here won 3 consecutive football matches, they won 3 games in a row. So a consecutive integer are 2 integers in a row or in order. So consecutive integers, the easiest ones, 1, 2, 3. Right? They are consecutive numbers. They follow each other. So some examples here, 2 consecutive integers, 7, 8. It could be 100, 101. It could be 60, 61. Negative 24, negative 23. These are integers in order. 3 consecutive integers, 24, 25, 26. 4 consecutive integers, 7, 8, 9, 10. It could be 106, 107, 108, and 109. They are just in order. So mathematically, we can represent consecutive integers using x plus 1 or x plus 2. So using, and you guys are going to see me practice this, don't worry. It's going to look a little confusing, but we will practice. So using algebra, any unknown number is of course x. So what would the second integer be in a consecutive number? Well, it would be x plus 1. What would the third integer be? Well, it would be x plus 2, right? So if x was 7, this would be 8, this would be 9. The idea is we add a number every time to this, but it gets a little harder. And you guys, I really encourage you, if you're confused after today, to just read this. Make sure you understand this information. I'm obviously going to show you, but make sure you understand this. What about consecutive even integers? Examples of consecutive even integers are, even numbers that are in order. So an even number is a number that is typically, well, not typically, always a multiple of 2. So like 2, 4, 6, 8. So 3 consecutive even integers, for example, would be like 26, 28, 30. 27 and 29 are odd. So using algebra, we would do the same thing as before. We would say x, but then and we would make sure that x is even. And don't worry, guys, you'll see me do some practice with this in a minute. The second integer, however, and the third integer, we're going to go x plus 2 and x plus 4. So why do we do that? Well, just take, oops, I always do that. Hold on, let me get my right marker here. Here we go. I'm just going to erase my writing there. Just imagine x is, I have to pick an even number, so let's pick 44. Okay, what's the next even integer? Well, I can't add x plus 1, but I can add x plus 2. That would be 46. X plus 4 would be 48. So writing consecutive even integers, I have to add 2. The exact same thing for odd integers. The only difference is you start, hold on. The only thing you do is you start with an odd number, and for even, you start with an even number. Okay, there was a question. What was your question? Or there was somebody talking. What was it? Anything? Hello?
No.
Okay. Cool. So let's look at this. Let's practice this. Now, this looks crazy. It looks very complicated, but it's actually pretty straightforward with practice. But I mean, if I asked you this question before even before we look at the solution, if I asked you the sum of 3 consecutive integers, now remember, sum means adding. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 87. Find those numbers. That is challenging. It would take what we would call in math trial and error if you didn't know algebra. You have to think of 3 numbers in order that would give you 87. So like, I mean, you could try 10, 11, 12. You could add them up. So 10 plus 11 plus 12, you would get what? 33. That doesn't work. So you could try again. And you could keep going and going and going. But there's an easier way to do this than guessing your numbers. You can use the power of algebra, my favorite. I secretly have always liked algebra. So this is telling us how to set up our question. And it's telling us that it's equal to 87. So the sum of 3 consecutive integers. Our first integer is an unknown. Guys, notice that it doesn't say odd or even. Our second integer and our third integer are written like this. So we have our 1, 2, and 3 integers. X plus 1, and x plus 2. And I'm going to add all of these numbers together and solve for x. And I mean, really, that's it. I shouldn't say that's it like it's something that's really easy, but we're going to practice this. So the answer is here. Let me show you some practice. Let me kind of look at example 2 and example 3, and then I'm going to show you with some practice. It's a lot easier than it looks. Okay, so what about number 2? The sum of 2 consecutive even numbers. Well, because it's even, my first number will be x, but my second number has to be x plus 2. The sum of these numbers is 98, and then I solve. All right, same as normal. I'm going quick, not quick, but I'm going, through the solving, assuming you guys know how to do this. We did this last week. The challenge for you guys is setting up the question, which again, I'm going to show you in a second. What if they were odd integers? Well, the sum of 3 consecutive odd integers, you do the same thing, except instead of x plus 1, we're going to add 2 each time. So if you ever see, and let me just scroll up for a second, if you ever see even or odd, make sure you use x plus 2 and x plus 4 for the integers, the second and third. If you don't see the word even or odd, we just go x plus 1, x plus 2. All right, let's practice. This probably doesn't mean a lot to you guys. Some of you might be sitting here thinking, uh-oh, I do not understand this. Let me show you. 2 consecutive, there's no mention of even or odd here. So this says the sum of 2 consecutive numbers, 2 numbers in a row, would be 37. Now, I know that these integers will be x and x plus 1. They're not even, they're not odd, it's just 2 in a row. So the sum of these numbers, x plus 1 equals 37. We're done. I mean, sorry, the new part is done. All we need to do now is solve this. So how do we do it? Well, x plus x equals 37 minus 1. I'm going to move the 1 over. 2x equals 36. X is 36 over 2, which gives us our answer as 18. Now, I'm not done the question, though. The integers are 18. And guys, what's my next integer? It's 18 and what?
20.
Nope, it's
19.
not. It's 19. Exactly.
It goes up by 1? Or
Yes, because
yeah.
no problem. It's 2 consecutive numbers. So I'm going to use this. Was there a question? I heard another lady talking. Was there a question? If not, that's okay.
She was answering.
Oh, she was answering. Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Now, guys, hold on. What if I want to check this? How can I check this? This is easy to check. Is 18 plus 19 37? Right? Yeah, of course it is. You can do this on your calculator. 18 plus 19 is 37. Yeah, this works. So the best part about this question is if you had this on like a test or your final exam, you can check your numbers. If they don't equal 37, you're going to have to try again. Like maybe there was a mistake in your algebra. Okay, this is a good one. This is a good one to practice. The sum of 3 consecutive even integers is 90. Now it's even. So if it's even or odd, it doesn't matter. We do this. X is our first integer, X plus 2 is our second, and X plus 4 is our third. Guys, I'm never going to ask you for 4 or 5 consecutive numbers. You just need to know 2 or 3 consecutive numbers. They might be regular numbers, they might be even, they might be odd. Okay, so the sum X plus 2 plus X plus 4 equals 90. This looks crazy, but it's really not that bad. I'm going to move my 2 and my 4 over. So I'm going to get X plus X plus X. That's obviously 3 X's. And 90 minus 2 minus 4. So 3 X's equals 90 minus 6, which is 84, which means X is 84 over 3, which is 28. Now I'm not done the question. The integers are, now be careful here.
28, 29.
Okay, nope, you're so close. But remember, they're even integers. So the first integer is X.
30,
Yes, 30
32.
and 32. Yeah, woo. Perfect. If anybody's wondering, where did I get those numbers? Look at the blue. The first integer is X, so it's 28. The second integer is X plus 2, 30. The third integer is X plus 4, 32. Guys, if this question said odd, you would do the exact same thing. And of course, we can check our answers. 28 plus 30 plus 32 is 90. So it does work. All right. I want you guys to try some. So why don't you guys try these? I will give you 5 minutes. So at around 12 o'clock, we will look at the answers and then we're done. Okay, so take 5 minutes, take your time, put your answers in the chat, and that's it. D is pretty straight. D is funny because you could do D in your head if you wanted. But anyways, take a few minutes and try this. Maybe not 5, maybe take 3 minutes and I'll be back. Oh, so they're in the chat. Somebody answered D. I love it. D is oh, but wait about D for
I do mistake. It's wrong.
Yeah,
Not correct.
you did even integers, but not consecutive yet. Try again, but that's good for even integers. Take another couple minutes, guys. I'll be right back. And keep working. Nasser, you have your hand raised. Do you have a question?
Yeah, Mr. Mark, is this topic gonna be in the assignment?
No, no. The consecutive integers is not in the assignment. The assignment is, I'll write this down if you're wondering. Assignment 1 is pages 1 to 68.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't have, you will have word problems, but you won't have consecutive integers.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So guys, take one more minute and we'll look at the answers and then we're basically done for today. So one more minute. All right, let's check this out. Let's look at our answers here. I'll get rid of that. Okay. All right, let me go back to red. Actually, you know what? Let's go with purple. I'm thinking purple is a nice color to do their last couple of questions here. So, okay. The sum, and these are all the sum, right? I don't know if we do anything other than that. Okay. E is definitely challenging. I might, as a finale of today, I might show you E. E is very hard. I don't think you'd see something like E on a test or anything, but oh yeah, some of these get a little crazy, like E and G. But anyways, let's do C and D. We'll check your answers, and then as a finale for today, I'll show you E. Okay. So the sum of 3 consecutive odd integers. Okay, so odd. X, and it's 3 integers. So I know because it's odd, I'm going to add these. I've had questions in the past, students have been like, well, if it's odd, why are you adding 2? And then why are you adding 4? Well, an odd number plus 2 is still an odd number. Okay, so that's where that comes from. So I have my 3 integers here, but I need to make an equation out of it. So the sum, x plus 2 plus x plus 4 is equal to 153. So 3x is equal to 153 minus 6. 3x is 147. And I'll divide that by 3. So 147 divided by 3 gives me 49. Cool. Now I haven't answered the question. The integers are 49. Then I'm going to add 2. So 51. And then another 4, or add another 2 to get 53. You can check your answer. 49 plus 51 plus 53 will equal 153. So we're good. We've checked it out. All right, let me check the chat. Excellent. Okay. So D is you could do D in your head. 3 numbers in a row must equal 6. I mean, you could say 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, and 2. You could say 1, 2, 3. You could say 4, 5, 6. You get the idea. But let's solve this mathematically, even though I think a lot of you guys could do this in your head. Make a note that it's 3 integers, not odd, not even. It's just 3 consecutive integers. So x plus, sorry, x, let me pick a different color. Go back to red. X plus 1, oops, plus x plus 2 equals 6. So 3 x's equals 6 minus 3. 3x equals 3. And I divide by 3 to figure out that x equals 1. Which means my integers are 1, then I'm going to add 1, 2, then I'm going to add 1, 3. And you can check this, 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. Okay, finale. Now, guys, if any of you are having trouble with this, feel free to practice with these two. But let me show you one crazy one. This is a really challenging one to kind of, I guess challenge you. You know, I don't think you would see a question like E on a test or an assignment, but E is a great challenge to see if you guys are really understand this topic. It says find 2 consecutive even integers so that the smaller added to 4 times the larger equals 28. Or gives us, this one is definitely challenging. I don't think you would see one like this on a test. So first of all, 2 consecutive even integers. I know that my integers are going to be x and x plus 2. Like it has to be 2 consecutive even integers, x and x plus 2. But now I need to solve the equation. The smaller, which is x, is going to be added to 4 times the larger integer will give me 28. Crazy, right? It's actually not that crazy, but you have to be really careful. The smaller, which is x, is added to the larger, which is x plus 2. So the smaller added to 4 times the larger. Now, guys, all I need to do is solve, right? The hard part's over. So x plus 4x plus 8 equals 28. 5x equals 28 minus 8. 5x is 20. Divide by 5. And x equals 4. So my answer, the integers are 4 and 6. Whew. Very challenging. Okay, I'm going to stop for today. It's 12:05. Tomorrow, we're going to look at the last part of word problems, age, and then, and geometry. So we still got 2 more word problems to do tomorrow. But for anybody wondering, I think Nasser asked this question earlier, which was a really good question. Is this on the assignment? No. The assignment is up until page 68. Okay, so your assignment is up until page 68. Okay, so assignment number 1 is pages 1 to 68. So you won't see this consecutive stuff on the assignment. Okay, guys, that's it for me. I told you the assignment would be at the beginning. I said up by noon, but I forgot that I'm teaching until noon. So there'll be a little bit of time. Just let me finish off a couple things. So I'll have the assignment up this afternoon. Just give me an hour or so. And other than that, we're finished for today. So if there's any questions, thank you. If there's any questions, let me know.